All right. All right, number one, Carmelo divided his 457 baseball cards into 5 equal groups to place in envelopes. Your clue there that you're using division is the word equal. It says how many cards are in each group and how many are left over. So we're going to take the big number and divide it by how many? 457. Dividing 457 by 5. Okay. So I need to rewrite this with my little house and all. So I'm going to write 457, draw the little house top, and put a 5 on the outside. Then I can use my song and think about those steps. So Dad says to do what? So I'm going to draw a division symbol. What's Mom say to do? Multiply. Draw a multiplication. Sister says? Brother says? Rover says? All right, so I'm going to follow those steps to divide. All right. If I don't have multiplication memorized, then I'm also going to write those down on the side somewhere. So if I were you, you could write down 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 is 15 down the side of your paper as well. Some of y'all have been doing that every time, and it's really helping y'all. All right, so let's get started. First, we need to divide 5 and 4, but 4 is smaller than 5. So when that happens, what do?
You use 45.
I look at the first 2 numbers instead. So I'm going to look at 45. So I need a 5 fact that either equals 45 or gets me really close. Riley, what'd you pick?
9.
Riley says 9. If you agree with her, give me a thumbs up. If you disagree with her, give me a thumbs down. All right, Riley is right because 9 times 5 is what?
45.
So at the top, I'm going to write a 9, and underneath 45, I write what number?
45.
Because 9 times 5 is 45. That gets me done with division and multiplication. Now, sister says, good. Sister says subtract. So 45 minus 45 is what?
0.
All right. Now, after subtraction, brother says, so I'm going to bring down what number?
7.
Every time I do that. I'm bringing down the 7. And now Rover says, so I got to do all these steps again. I'm going to start back with division and think of how many times can 5 divide into 7. I need a fact that gets me close to 7. Eli? 5 times 1. So I'm going to put a 1 at the top. What do I write underneath the 7? Because 1 times 5 is 5. So that gets me through division and multiplication. Sister says, okay, what's 7 minus 5?
2.
Okay. Brother says,
Bring that.
is there anything left to bring?
No.
So when that happens, I know I'm done. What's my remainder?
2.
Remainder is 2. So I need to wait till I ask something before talking. Put your mask on. All right, so I'm going to look at the answer choices and find one that says this. My answer was 91. I had a remainder of 2. If I look at A, does it say 91?
No.
What about B?
No.
What about C?
Yes.
All right, but let's keep reading. It says 91 baseball cards in each group with 2 left over. Is that how many I had left over?
Yes.
So C is my answer. Uh-huh. Does anybody have any questions about number 1 before we move on to 2? All right, so if you weren't convinced, you need to be checking yours and correcting it if it needs corrected. You're going to use this to look back over tonight to study. All right, number 2. Some of y'all got confused by number 2. It says, Bruce, Diane, and Joshua mowed lawns together. They earned a total of $225. They want to divide the money equally. How much money will each person receive? So it says each person. It doesn't tell me how many people there are, so I have to count their names instead. So Bruce is 1, Diane is 2, Joshua is how many? 3. So I'm gonna gonna divide 225 by 3. All right. So if you don't know your 3 facts out to the side, you could write 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, and you could list all of them all the way down through 3 times 9. All right. So Dad says, Mom says, Sister says, Brother says, Rover says. Okay. So I start with 3 and 2. Is 2 smaller than 3?
Yes.
So when that happens, I'm going to look at the first 2 numbers. So I'm going to divide 3 into 22. So I need to either look at my 3 facts I wrote down or think about them and come up with one that gets me close to 22. 3 times what, Brianna?
3 times 7.
Great. So over 22, I'm going to put a 7. And everybody, what is 3 times 7?
21.
So underneath, I'm going to write 21. So that was division and multiplication. Now, Sister says, so I need to subtract those numbers. 22 minus 21 is? Brother says? I'm going to bring down the, and Rover says? So I got to do this again. Now I need a 3 fact for 15. Oh, raise your hands, Carly. All right, what does that equal, everybody?
15.
So I write it underneath. And Sister says? Okay, 15 minus 15? 0. And Brother says? Brother says bring down. Is there anything left to bring down? All right, so my remainder is 0. Looking at my answer choices, I need to find one that says 75 with no leftovers. Which one would that be? D. $75 is how much each one of those people, Bruce, Diane, and Joshua, would get for mowing. Oh, we don't guess. But you don't have any work for what you wrote down. All right. Number 3. A total of 333 players signed up to play soccer last year. The players were split into 9 teams. Each team had the same number of players. How many players did each team have last season? So somebody raise your hand and tell me what numbers I should divide. 3? 333. And what? 333 divided by 9. So I need to write out my 9 facts if I don't have them memorized. And then I can use those to solve this problem. So if I didn't know them by heart, I would list all of them through 9. I'm running out of room though. All right, so 9 times 1 is what?
18.
9 times 1 is 18. Think before you speak. Okay, what's 9 times 2?
18.
9 times 3?
27.
9 times 4?
36.
9 times 5?
45.
9 times 6?
54.
9 times 7?
63.
And then I ran out of room, but you would also want to list 9 times 8 and 9 times 9, and then you would be finished listing your facts. So then you can start dividing. Dad says divide, Mom says, Sister says, Brother says, Brother says. All right. So we're going to start with 9 and 3, but again, 3 is too little. So instead we look at what? 9 and
33.
Okay. So I got to look at my facts over here and find me one that gets me close to 33, but it doesn't go over it. Which one should I use, Diana?
9 times 3.
And it equals
27.
All right, so I'm going to write the fact, which is 3, at the top, and I'm going to write the answer underneath. So I put 3 on the top, 27 on the bottom. I'm done with division and multiplication. Now I should
Subtract.
All right. This is where some of y'all messed up when I was checking them. You got the hard stuff right, but you messed up on subtraction. Because if I only have 3, can I take 7 away?
No.
So you were supposed to regroup. So if I regroup, this 3 becomes a
That's what I did.
2. I gotta borrow from it, and the other 3 turns into a
13.
okay. So now I can subtract 13 minus 7, and I get what?
6.
All right, and then 2 minus 2.
0.
Okay, brother says
Bring down.
bring down what number?
3.
All right, Rover says.
Okay.
So I gotta do all this again, and now I'm working with 63. So looking at my nines facts, raise your hand and tell me which nines fact I should use. Lindsay, 9 times 7 because it equals what?
63.
So I'm gonna write a 7 at the top and a 63 down here for my multiplication. And then sister says,
Subtract.
so 63 minus 63 is
0.
brother says bring down. Is there anything to bring down? That's how I know I'm finished. So my answer is 37 with a remainder of
0.
okay. So looking at my answer choices, would that be A, B, C, or D, everybody?
B.
Yes. You did have to regroup. There's no way you could do that subtraction without regrouping. Well, maybe you counted in your head up from 27 to 33, but you can't subtract 3 minus 7. Doesn't work like that.
I can.
I'm not gonna argue about it, Tanner. You can't subtract that unless you're just counting on your fingers rather than regrouping. All right. So that was our restroom break. We're just gonna go to the restroom, and when we get back, we will finish going over our study guide. If you are a girl, come on up to the restroom. All right. Let's get started back with number 4. Did anybody have a question about number 3?
Adrian said he had a question.
Seriously?
When he was up here, he said, I didn't get it.
He got it because he was finished yesterday. All right, number 4. Tori collected 66 postcards from her vacation. She decided to put them in a memory book. It's like a scrapbook or a photo album, maybe. Each page of the memory book can hold 5 postcards. Which equation will help Lori determine the number of pages she needed in the memory book? So you didn't even have to work this one out because it left the answer as P. Because you know sometimes letters can represent numbers in our math problems, right? So it didn't even ask you to solve it. You just had to pick which equation you would use to solve it. So if she has 66 postcards and we want to put 5 on every single page, would we take 66 and subtract something? Would we add something to it? Would we multiply it? Would we divide it?
Yes.
All right. So your answer for number 4 should have been D. All you had to do on that was decide which equation you would use to solve the problem. You didn't actually have to solve it. Number 5. All right, this one was a little bit more difficult. I had several questions about this one.
That was easy.
Okay. So what you had to do. What's the talking? It says the teacher writes 4 division problems on the board for students to solve as shown. Which problem has a remainder when solved? So you should have checked problem number 1 and see, worked it out. If it had a remainder, there was your answer, you could stop. If it didn't have a remainder, you should have went on to problem 2 and worked it out and seen if it had a remainder. If it did, great, that's your answer. If it didn't, go on to 3 and then 4 if you need to. So we're going to start with problem number 1 and check it. So we're going to write down 306 divided by 6. So thinking about my 6 facts, somebody raise your hand and give me one that gets me close to 30 without going over. Caitlin?
6 times 5.
Okay, so I would write a 5 at the top, and 6 times 5 is what?
30.
Then I
Do subtract.
30 minus 30 is,
0.
brother says,
Bring down.
bring down my 6. How many times can 6 go into 6, everybody?
0. 6.
1 time, because 6 times 1 is.
6.
So when I subtract that, I have a remainder of.
0.
So is problem number 1 gonna have a remainder? No, because we got 0 at the end.
Oh.
So then we would go on to problem 2 and check it. It says 125 divided by 5. So first I'm going to divide 5 and 12. Somebody raise your hand and tell me a 5's fact that'll get me close to 12. Eli?
5 times 6.
5 times what? 2. So I'm going to write a 2 at the top. That's division. What is 5 times 2?
10.
That's my multiplication step. Sister says
Subtract.
12 minus 10 is.
2.
Brother says.
Bring down.
Now I need a fact for 25. Who can raise your hand and tell me that one? Tanner?
5 times 5.
So at the top I'm going to write a 5, and 5 times 5 is.
25.
When I subtract, what do I get?
0.
So does this one have a remainder?
No.
So it's still not the answer. I need to check problem number 3. That one says 266 divided by 8. Okay, so I need an 8's fact that gets me close to 26. Diana?
8 times 6.
8 times 6 is 48. That's way bigger than 26. Carly?
8 times 3.
What is 8 times 3, everybody?
24.
24. When I subtract 26 minus 24, I get 2. 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. Brother says, so I bring down this 6. Now I've got to repeat. So now I need a 8th fact that gets me close to 26 again, right?
8 times 3.
Because this is the same number we were just working with, so I should stick with the same fact. 8 times 3 is what?
26.
24. Then I subtract, and what do I have left over? I need some help from y'all. What's 26 minus 24? 2. So does this one have a remainder?
Yes.
So my answer is problem number
3.
3. So I should have chosen C. It was asking you which one does have some leftovers. Any questions about this problem? Don't tell me no, just raise your hand if you do have a question. All right, number 6. This one was a little tricky. This is the most missed question out of both classes on the study guide. So what this question says is which equation has the same unknown number as 870 divided by 6? So unknown number is what we're looking for here. What it's saying is if you knew what number goes in this blank, which one of these blanks down here would have that exact same number? So if I wasn't sure, I should work this out and see what number goes in that blank first. So 870 divided by 6. If I didn't know my 6 facts, I would write them down. So first I'm dividing 6 and 8. And 8 is bigger than 6, so I'm going to start with the 8. I need a 6 fact that gets me close to 8 without going over. Okay, Sloan? 6 times 1. So at the top, I'm going to write a 1 over the 8. And 6 times 1 is what? 6. So that's what I write underneath. 8 minus 6 is?
It's 2.
Good. Brother says? Bring down my 7. Rover says? So I need to do it again. Now I need a 6 fact that gets me close to 27 without going over. Brianna? 6 times 4 will work. So I'm going to put a 4 up here. What is 6 times 4?
24.
All right. When I subtract 7 minus 4, I get
3.
and 2 minus 2.
0.
Brother says,
Bring down.
and I do have another number, so I've got to bring it down. So now I repeat with 30. I need a 6 fact for 30. Who hadn't answered in a while? Dre, tell me a 6 fact for 30.
6 times 5.
Good. What is 6 times 5, everybody?
30.
30 minus 30 is?
0.
All right. So the number that could go in the blank is 145. Okay. So looking at A, can I plug 145 in here and it equal this is what it's asking?
Yeah.
So you could check that and see, or you could just look at the other ones and see if it made sense. So looking at B, 870 times 6. If I multiply 870 times 6, is my answer going to be 145? No, because 870 is already bigger than that. If I multiply, it's going to be way bigger. So I know it can't be B. If I multiply 870 times 145, is the answer going to be 6? Okay, so that can't be it. If I multiply 145 times 870 again, is it going to be 6?
No.
So it can't be that one. So that means A must be true. You could have also checked that if you needed to. You could have said 145 times 6 and seen if that was true. This is also how you can check your division and see if you divided right. So what's 5 times 6, everybody?
30.
So I would write down a 0 and carry a
3.
Now I'm going to say 6 times 4.
24.
Plus the 3 I carry.
6.
27. I write down a 7 and carry a 6 times 1. Plus the 2 I carry. Is that the number I'm looking for?
Yes.
So now I know for sure I divided right and A is my answer.
Yes.
Does anybody still have a question about number 6? All right, that was our most missed one, I think. All right, number 7. Everybody find number 7 where you worked it out, and let's check it. Okay, it says a pack of chocolate has 3 pieces in it. If Sarah has 42 pieces, how many packs of chocolate does Sarah have? So again, we weren't really necessarily having to work it out. We had to find the equation for this problem. So somebody raise your hand and tell me what division problem I would need to solve this. Adrian? 42 divided by 3. Does A say that?
No.
So it can't be the answer. Does B say that?
Yes.
Let's make sure it's the only one. Does C?
No.
It says multiplication. What does D say?
Multiplication.
So it can't be it either. So without even having to solve it, I can tell it's going to be B because that's the only one that has the right division problem set. Right? And so we know it's going to be division, right? Yes, ma'am. All right. Find number 8 and let's see if you got it right. It says Christy has 547 pieces of candy and wants to divide them into 9 equal groups to share them with her friends. How many pieces are in each group and how many are left over? So when it says the word leftovers, that's going to be our what?
Remainder.
Our remainder. Good, Rana. So who can raise your hand and tell me what division problem I need? Carly?
547 divided by 9.
Awesome. All right. So y'all help me. Dad says.
Divide.
Mom says.
Multiply.
Sister says.
Subtract.
Brother says.
Break down.
Brother says.
Repeat.
All right. So we're going to do all those steps to solve this. First, I start with 9 and 5. Is 5 big enough?
No.
So instead, what am I going to look at?
54.
54. All right. So thinking about my 9s facts, if I don't have those memorized, I need to write them out to the side. So I could write down 9 times 1 is what? 9 times 2?
18.
9 times 3?
27.
9 times 4?
36.
36. I'm running out of room here. Hold on. Let me scroll down. 9 times 5?
45.
9 times 6?
56.
Not 56.
54.
Good. And that's the number I'm looking for, right?
Yes.
So what fact should I use?
9 times 6.
Okay. What do I write at the top?
6.
What do I write at the bottom?
54.
All right. So that gets division and multiplication. Now what does sister say to do? 54 minus 54 is?
0.
Brother says?
Bring down.
What number do I bring down?
7.
Okay. Brother says?
Repeat.
All right. This is another place y'all got tripped up yesterday when we were working out the study guide. So 9 and 7. Is 7 big enough?
No.
Is 7 bigger than 9?
No.
Okay. Is there any more numbers to bring down?
No.
So I don't have any extra numbers to help me. Good, Abigail. She says we can use 9 times 0. So we're going to put a 0 at the top. What is 9 times 0? So when I subtract, what's my remainder?
7.
Good. So my answer is going to be 60 with a remainder of 7. So I need to look at my answer choices and see which one has that. So looking over here, does A have 60?
No.
Does B?
No.
Does C?
Yes.
Does D?
Yes.
So we know it can't be A or B. Now we got to see which one has the right leftovers, the remainder. So does C have 7 left over?
Yes.
Does D?
No.
So that narrows it down, and I know it's C. Does anybody have any questions about number 9 on your study guide? All right, so don't forget tonight, the recording of this will be on Canvas, and when you're studying for your test tomorrow, you don't have to watch the whole video again, but if you got stuck on number 9, fast forward to the final where we work number 9 and look at it again tonight, okay? Or whichever number.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, that was number 8. This is number 9. All right, Mr. Jones is setting up chairs in the gym for the music concert. He has a total of 216 chairs, and he needs to put them in 9 equal rows. So who can tell me my division problem? Landon?
9 divided by 216.
Say that the opposite way. 216 divided by 9.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the right numbers. We gotta take the big number and divide it by the little number. All right. So if I don't have my 9s fact memorized, I would write them down. We just wrote them down for number 8, so you can probably look back up there on your paper from yesterday instead of us rewriting them. All right. So we're gonna start with 2. Is 2 big enough?
No.
So I'm gonna use
21.
Who can raise their hand and tell me a 9s fact that'll work for this? Abigail?
2. 2 times 1.
2 times 9, yes. So at the top, everybody, I write what?
2.
And underneath, I write?
18.
All right, here's another one we need to regroup on. So I'm gonna borrow from this 2, it's gonna become a,
1.
and this 1's gonna turn into a,
11.
okay? 11 minus 8,
3.
3. And 1 minus 1,
0.
okay? Brother says?
Bring
down. So I'm gonna bring down my 6. Now think about your 9s facts. Somebody raise your hand. I need a 9s fact for 36. Lindsay?
9 times 4.
Awesome. I'm gonna put a 4 up here. What is 9 times 4?
36.
And sister says?
Subtract.
What's 36 minus 36?
0.
Do I have a remainder?
No.
No. So I need to find the answer that says 24. Which letter is that?
C.
C. Check your paper and see if you got that right yesterday.
Yep, I did.
Anybody have any questions about number 9?
No, ma'am.
All right. We're on our last one now. Number 10 says a plant nursery has 424 plants. If there are 4 plants of each type, how many types of plants are in the nursery? So did y'all know that the places that sell plants are called nurseries?
No. I thought they were plant shop. Like nurse.
Think about how like babies stay in the nursery at church, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So baby plants live in a plant nursery and they grow up and then they sell the grown-up plants to you. So places that sell plants are called plant nurseries. I used to work at a plant nursery. I did. I quit last year. All right. So I used to work there on the weekends. All right, a plant nursery has 424 plants. So we're gonna write down 424. What are we dividing it by?
4.
4. All right, so if I don't know my 4's facts, then I can write those out on the side. What's 4 times 1?
4.
What's 4 times 2?
8.
4 times 3?
12.
4 times 4?
16.
4 times 5?
20.
Whoops, I wrote that wrong, didn't I? Hold on.
You put
I know, I'm crazy. Okay, 4 times 5?
20.
4 times 6?
24.
Still haven't got to one big enough for my number yet. Oh yeah, I have. I'm crazy. Okay, so we're starting with 4 divided by what?
4 divided by 4.
Okay, so somebody raise your hand and tell me which fact I need for that. Brianna.
4 times 6.
4 times 6?
Huh?
You just told me I was dividing 4 and 4.
Oh.
Which fact should I use for that?
You should use 4 times 1.
Yes, that's better. Okay, so at the top, I'm gonna put a 1. Underneath 4, what do I write, everybody?
4.
And sister says?
Subtract.
4 minus 4 is?
0.
Brother says?
Bring down.
All right, here's another spot people got stuck. When I bring down this 2, it's too little, right?
Yeah.
So, like Allison told us earlier, what are we gonna put at the top?
0.
A 0, because it's too little. So I can subtract 0 and I still have 2. And now brother says bring down the
4.
So now I need a fact for 24. Who can find that one? Heck, Tanner?
4 times 6.
4 times 6. At the top, I'm going to write a,
6.
and 4 times 6 is?
24.
Let me scroll down a little. All right, 24 minus 24 is?
0.
Do I have a remainder?
No. Yeah. No.
Was 0. So at the top, I had 106. Which answer choice would that be? C. Anybody have a question about number 10? Okay. So before we forget, I want everybody to take your study guide that you worked out yesterday. We went over today. Get out your white student folder that you take back and forth and put it in there before you forget, so it goes home tonight. Everybody put it in your student folder. Yes, ma'am. Hold on. Thank you, Pam. Is that where you need? No. Yeah, but
Hey,
you were doing good yesterday.
it's not me.
You were doing good too.
I'm never trying.
Look, so on our last quick check, out of our room of 19 people, 16 of y'all were green, 2 were yellow, no were red, 1 person was absent. So that's awesome.
What's the action?
You called them.
Yeah. At least we're not
All right,
grabbing.
everybody get that put in your case and put it in your folder, baby. Put it up. Well, we don't forget it at school. I really hope we're not playing on stuff on that. Oh yeah, let me stop the recording since we're done going over it.
Oh, God.